Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate you so much. If this is your first time here, welcome. And thank you for stopping by. Feel free to leave comments in the comment section, have a conversation about the video, have a conversation about encounters you may have had. I basically just want this channel to be a platform where everyone feels free and welcome to come and discuss this topic and share their encounters. I have an encounter for you today I would like to share with you that someone sent to me a little over a year ago. It is a pretty unsettling encounter. I would not have wanted to be these two people that night, I can tell you that much right now. It was sent to me by someone who simply signed their initials AF, and I have titled this encounter Fear Festival. So without further ado, I will get right into it. This person says, "Hello. Thank you so much for allowing me to share what happened. This has been a long time coming, and it feels very good to write this down. My best friend and I had gone to a music festival. We decided instead of spending a ton of money, which we did not have, on a hotel, we would rough it and go to a camp for 2 nights. The concert was absolutely amazing, and after a long day, we drove to our campsite. My friends started a fire, and we settled down. Now, before I go any further with this, let me say that we did not partake in any type of, I wonder if I can say that word on YouTube. Basically, they did not partake in anything that would have caused them to be impaired or hallucinate in any type of way. So she says, we were not partaking in any type of blank that many festival goers do. We did have a few beers each that evening, but that was it. We both tend to get very tired and drowsy if we drink during the daytime, so we decided against it. We had been sitting in our chairs by the fire for a few hours when we both began to feel uneasy and also at the same time." Okay, so I guess they both began to feel easy and both of them began to feel uneasy at the same time as each other. I cannot explain it. It is much like when you are a kid and you are laying in bed and you suddenly become afraid for no real reason. We shrugged it off as to being in the woods and not many other people being at the campsite other than us and a few others. My friend went to relieve himself in the woods. As I sat there, I heard a deep growl come from behind me to my right. I froze in fear. I also heard footsteps crunching in leaves, and the sound began to fill the air. I wanted so badly to scream for my friend, but I was too afraid to make any noise. Thankfully, he came back within just a minute or so of that, but he was pale as a ghost. I asked him what was wrong. He held his finger to his lips and shushed me. He motioned for me to go inside the tent, so I did. Once inside, he whispered that while he was away, he saw a pair of red eyes that were watching him the entire time. He said to me, some sort of wolf. And it was some sort of wolf that was standing. He said, we need to leave immediately. I said to him, there's no wolves out here. And he insisted that he saw a wolf and that it stood up like a man. I was confused. I was also very afraid. I said, maybe we should just stay here. The car is really far away, and I did not want to have to run in the woods if there was truly a wolf out there. I told him I heard that animals were afraid of fire, and we should sit in front of the fire until daylight. He did not want to do this, but I begged him as I was too afraid to leave and go traipsing through the woods in the middle of the night. I also told him about the growl I heard that was behind me, and we decided that there must be 2 of these things. We slowly and quietly got out of the tent and sat by our fire. Almost immediately, we heard what sounded like heavy breathing. This, along with growling, went on for about an hour, until my friend stood up in pure panic, I am assuming, and shouted, "Leave us alone." Well, that just made our circumstances go from a 5 to a 10 real quick. We began to hear running as if these things were running in a circle around us. Heavy, heavy footsteps, with low growling intensified. I vividly recall I had been wearing a locket my mom gave me when I was little. I had clutched it so tightly the entire night that it left a small bruise on my hand. I remembered a bear documentary I had watched once saying you should make yourself appear big and loud. So we got up the nerve to yell and throw rocks aimlessly into the dark. What happened next will haunt me for the rest of my life. It became quiet. No more running, no more growling or heavy breathing. Had we scared them off, I thought? Looking all around, my eyes stopped as directly behind the tent stood something that should not have been a reality. I had a genuine thought for a minute that maybe we got some bad beer and we were hallucinating. It's so silly thinking back now, I know, but I was much younger and my mind could simply not process what we were seeing. This creature stood about 8 feet tall. Its eyes seemed to change from orange to red. It had black hair, medium-length black hair. Its chest like a man on steroids, its arms and legs as well. It smelled so strange. I can't even put my finger on it to this day. A feeling of dread filled me as I looked at this thing. My hands trembled. My whole body trembled. I glanced at my friend, and he seemed to be in some sort of a trance. I was cursing myself for not bringing even a knife out here with us. This thing began to sway right to left, almost like a child or a boxer. I'm trying to explain this the best I can. I remember thinking we were going to die, that this was it. I began to pray in my head, then aloud, asking God to please help us, save us. This seemed to agitate this thing. My friend began to squeeze my hand and whispered to shut up. This thing began to sort of snort and growl and bounce. It smelled so bad, so bad. The smell stayed in my nose for days. I said out loud, "Jesus, please help us." And I closed my eyes. I heard running, and I was sure it was coming towards us. But the footsteps were getting farther away, not closer. I opened my eyes, and my friend fell on the ground. This big, tough guy was on the ground, shaking so badly, I feared that he was having a heart attack. He urinated on himself, and at this point, I begged him to please get up. But he was having a full-on panic attack at this point, and he could not even respond to me. I was in hysterics, begging him to move, but he just sat there, trembling. We sat there until sunrise. That morning, we grabbed our bags, left the tent, and ran to the car. I will never, ever forget this. I am not sure why, but my friend did not talk to me much anymore after that. He just simply stopped calling and coming by. I was so desperate to talk to somebody about this. I am so grateful to finally release this. Whatever they are not a natural animal. I know that for sure. And I know we barely made it out of those woods alive. Signed AF. So that is an encounter I'd wanted to share for a long time. I find that one very, very interesting. I know that a lot of people have a theory that these things are demonic. And I do wonder sometimes myself, I wonder why after she began to pray aloud that this thing ran away. Did that have anything to do with it? Was it coincidence that it ran off as she began to pray? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I am not sure. I don't know why sometimes people encounter these things and they sort of just seem to intimidate people and then run off, or, scare people half to death and then leave them alone. I don't know why they do that. I don't know what their purpose is. I don't know what their end game is. Do they, just pick and choose people that they want to scare as opposed to actually physically harm? I don't know. And we wouldn't know, because if somebody was genuinely harmed by one of these creatures, would we ever know about it? Probably not. It would probably just be in the news as a bear or a mountain lion or exposure. So, who knows? And that's probably the most frustrating thing about this whole topic, is there is such a deep, 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 what's the word I'm looking for here? It seems that one person over here will say one thing, and then somebody over here will say another thing. And, even if authorities get involved, it just seems that they just want to bury it, cover it up, disguise it as something else. And, don't look over here, don't look over here, look over there. This is really what it is. And it's very frustrating, because I truly feel that whatever these things are, that people should know about them, and people have a right to know about them, especially people who are like hikers and campers, and people who are in the mountains and in the woods a lot, people who bring their families out there. I believe that they truly have a right to know. I know some people feel that dogmen are sort of like a sister to Bigfoot. Like there's some form of a Bigfoot, maybe. That could be, perhaps, I don't know. Or they could just be something, entirely on their own, not related to Bigfoot. I tend to go more that way, to be honest with you. But, like I said, I don't know. I don't have a Bigfoot and a Dogman to stand side by side and sit there and examine. So I don't know. But I do find it very interesting that a lot of these encounters I have given to me, a lot of the ones I've heard on other channels, most of the time, these creatures tend to just intimidate, scare, and then that's it. But like I said, would we really know if there were more cases of them actually hurting people? Probably not. We probably wouldn't hear about it. I know some people have a feeling or a theory that they are some type of race of the Nephilim. And, could that be? Possibly. I don't know. I just find it all very interesting and very intriguing. I have some more stories that I have to record and get out to you guys. I really would appreciate it if you could give me any feedback in the comments. I am brand new at doing this. This isn't perfect, and I'm so sorry. It's not like other channels where they have background music and, guests come on and they get to talk back and forth to each other. I did want to ask you guys, though, would you think it would be a good idea to do a live? Because if we did a live, then we could chat back and forth in real time and have more of a conversation, which is kind of what I wanted this channel to be anyways, to begin with. So let me know in the comments, and I hope you come back next time that I put out a new video, which will be very soon. And thank you for stopping by. I hope everybody has a wonderful day or evening, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.